Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is fine. Let me quickly bring my uh, StreamYard to the second screen. Hi, Adam. Hi, everyone. How's everyone going? How's Global Hack Week going? Let us wait for a couple of minutes so that everyone can join and we can start the stream. Today, we're gonna go start hacking with Bootstrap. Bootstrap, if you know, there's a separate track of web development. Bootstrap is gonna help you to make your web application more responsive and more attractive. So first of all, a very good morning, afternoon, or evening based on wherever you are. It's 5:30 a.m. here in India, and I guess it's 8 p.m. Eastern time. So let's wait for a while so that everyone can join and we can start the stream. I'm awake for this MLS stream. Anyways, I get up every day at 5, so it's common for me. And it's 1 a.m. there at Philomath. Where do you belong to Philomath? We can start in about 3 to 3 minutes, and then we can start about the stream. So I guess we can start in a while if everyone is ready. I hope everyone is ready to learn Bootstrap with me today. Bootstrap is a very good framework for a front-end web development, and I have been using Bootstrap very often in most of my projects. So it's going to help you a lot during these MLH projects and MLH hackathons as well. So let's we gonna wait for a while so everyone join. I guess everyone has joined. We can start. Before starting, let us check what's the registration and check-in process is. Let me quickly get the screen on. Let's great, awesome. So first thing you're gonna do is you have to check in for the Global Hack Week Share 2022 Day 4. Make sure you check in today to earn a point for you. And the second thing you're gonna do is go to first and go to the event link that is Hack with Bootstrap link and check in there as well, so everyone can check in and get a point and complete it Global Hack Week as well. uh I guess everyone can check in. I can give you a minute or so you can check in and do let me know once we have done, so we can move forward and carry forward with what Bootstrap and everything is. I guess let me know if I'm audible and visible enough so that it will be easier for you to see and have look everything. Okay, I guess everyone has checked in now and we can start today's session or workshop on Hack with Bootstrap. First of all, let us know what is Bootstrap. Basically, Bootstrap is a basically a front end framework used to design responsive web pages and application. It takes a mobile first approach to web development and includes pre-built CSS and classes. Plus, it does have JavaScript as well. If you know, before, like in the current version of Bootstrap 5, that is the current version of Bootstrap, it no longer requires jQuery. Before, it was requiring jQuery for many of its functions, but right now it's completely independent and it has their own pre-built CSS and pre-built JavaScript in it. So today's stream is slightly different from other technical workshops. We're gonna see how Bootstrap work rather than directly start working on Bootstrap, so you can know how things work. So you can make a project using Bootstrap, and we'll see if you are able to do it. And do let me know and tag me on Discord if you make something with Bootstrap. So I guess we can start now. Uh, First of all, Bootstrap, uh, as I already said, is like a wonderful front end framework. I have been using Bootstrap for a while now, and it has helped me a lot while making websites and web application faster. I'm using it with React as well as other frameworks as well. I'm going to show you how to work with React as well after a while. So starting, like there's a one caution that you cannot learn Bootstrap in one workshop. Bootstrap, there are lots of classes, there are lots of IDs which you're gonna learn after practicing Bootstrap. So don't like, make sure you do practice and use Bootstrap in your projects, and do everything very faster and make responsive websites. I guess you all have attended one workshop on Bootstrap Studio. The Bootstrap Studio is based on Bootstrap framework, and now we're gonna learn how Bootstrap works and how Bootstrap is. So first of all, let us see how to add Bootstrap to your projects. Bootstrap is basically, there are two ways to add Bootstrap into your projects. Either you can download the whole source code of Bootstrap, or you can use Content Delivery Network. So for anything, we are gonna go again and again to the like Bootstrap documentation, because documentation is the one thing that you'll go for the very first time you're learning anything. The first thing you're going to do is have a look on the documentation. So here's the documentation link for Bootstrap. It is getbootstrap.com. I'm going to click on get started. There are two ways you can start it, as I said. Either you can directly download the source code into your local system, or either you can use a content delivery network. Basically, these are two links that you're going to add to your source code and learn how to like, are gonna add this to your source code so that you can get your code linked to Bootstrap. So today, like, you must have used Bootstrap with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Today we're gonna see how we can use it with React.js. So we're gonna do today is React.js plus Bootstrap combination, and we'll try to make an application with it. If you have any doubts till now, please ping it in the comment section so I can reply and make sure everyone is free enough so we can move forward with the topic. By the time you all put your doubts, I'll quickly make a new folder here and make set up a new React application. For setting up a new React application, I'm gonna open the PowerShell window and use the npx command to get the React application set up. So for using React, please make sure you have Node.js installed in it. So it will be npx create React app, and I gonna name is MLH demo. So basically the React application name will be MLH demo. So it's gonna take a while to set up everything and to create basically the React application. By the time, if is anyone having doubt, please put it in the comment section so that you can learn more easily, and it would be much clear for you to understand how Bootstrap and React works together. It's gonna take a while. So you can try and do hands on everything, so it would be easier for you to work and see together and see and practice together, and we will start working on the projects right after the stream and do submit it on the day today's dev post. It's taking a while to install it, sorry, basically set up the React application. And once the React application set up, I'm gonna tell you how to link the CSS files using content delivery network into your directly into your React application. By the way, by the time React application installed, how many of you do know what Bootstrap is and have worked with Bootstrap before? So we can have a knowledge about how much, like, informative on known the knowledge the audience is about the Bootstrap. Setting up a React application takes some times depending upon your system. Okay. Paulus have worked with Bootstrap before. How do you feel about Bootstrap? I know it's a pretty old framework, but it's still in use and have been used by many uh, big companies and many big web app applications also. So as you can see, the I guess most probably the React application is set up. It is initializing, just initializing a React Git repository. It should be set up in a while now. So if you don't know what's the command for setting up a React application, I'll put it down over the comment section. React, create React app. Here, app name. So this is the command you'll use to set up a React application using a PowerShell window. Now I'll go inside the MLH demo folder and open my VS Code. Let me bring it on the screen. So here, as you can see, the VS Code is set up. Note that for running up a React application, you will need basically a Node.js install, and if you want to code faster, you can have multiple plugins like Emmet or Codega code snippets. It will help you to code faster and help you with everything. Basically, it will suggest you all the code snippets and most of the codes directly onto your IDE. Uh, I'll just remove the comments to make sure the code looks clean, and so that we can work over here. So as you can see, we'll now look how to add or link like the Bootstrap CSS into your file. I'll once again go back to the documentation that is getbootstrap.com and getting started. I'll put the link in once again in the comment section so you can go and directly have a look. So basically, it has two parts. The Bootstrap has two parts. It has a pre-built CSS and a pre-built JavaScript. Both are required to run Bootstrap into your project. So I'll first copy the CSS part and go back to my my VS Code. CSS part should be linked in the head. So I'll paste it over here, and the JavaScript part should be run over. The JavaScript part should be just above the body, or basically the ending of the body. So both of this is done. Now note that once it is done, there's a difference between there's a huge difference between working with HTML and Bootstrap and React and Bootstrap. We're gonna see one by one how things work in both of the frameworks and both of the things. Before that, I'll quickly get back to the documentation, because we're gonna first go through like a quick go through the documentation and see how things work in Bootstrap. So now you know how to get Bootstrap linked to your local, basically your project. And although Bootstrap has a very vast pre-built library, we might use the library in the project to showcase how the things work. But we gonna don't copy the library, and we'll work understand how everything is defined, and we will basically reverse engineer everything to know how things work. So if you have any doubts till now, you can write it over here, and by the time if everything works, we're gonna go and learn how the Bootstrap layout looks like and how things work in Bootstrap. So getting back to the documentation, if you go in the documentation, the layout section, there are a couple of things which we're gonna understand before working directly with Bootstrap. The first very first thing is breakpoints. Basically, breakpoints are basically the widths that determines how responsive your layout will be. There are about 5 or 6 breakpoints. Yes, there's about 6 breakpoints. That is extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, extra large. So the thing here at breakpoints is whether you are using any components in Bootstrap and you give them these breakpoints, the basically the component will lose the 100% width after it reaches the big breakpoint. For example, if I have given the nav bar is nav bar breakpoint as XS, so it will lose the basically the dimensions at 546 pixels. Similarly for small, medium, large, extra large, and extra large. So there are about 6 breakpoints. It depends upon how responsive you want to make your project or web application. Make sure you do have a look on the documentation as we go through it one by one. The second one is container. Basically what containers are, these are everything which we call as a fundamental building block of Bootstrap. It has padding, and it will help you to align your content, and it will give you basically everything within the viewport. So the content, basically the container is the most basic element of Bootstrap, and it is required. It is like it is one of the requirements while you are making anything with Bootstrap. As you can see here, Boost containers can be directly linked with the breakpoints, and we can define how responsive will be using the breakpoint. For example, here you can see container.small. It will lose the 100% width after it reaches 546 pixels. Similarly, for container.md, that is container medium, it will lose the 100% width at 720 pixel. Similarly, for large XL, double XL, and the last one is fluid. The fluid container, the fluid breakpoint never breaks their 100% width. I'll show you demo one by one once we go through the component part, so we can understand just by seeing it. Let us do one thing. Let me quickly npm start run this application so we can see the live demo one by one. So I'll just write npm start. So this React application will set up, and will make changes on the go and see the result one by one, so that you can understand more clearly how Bootstrap works. Note that we are working with React and Bootstrap combination, and not HTML and Bootstrap combination. There's a big difference when you're working with the simple JavaScript, or HTML, CSS JavaScript, or React, because there's a syntax difference. For example, in HTML classes you use class, while in React you use class name. So these are the things which we need to keep in mind while working with React and Bootstrap combination. Now, getting back to the VS Code thing, as you know, let me quickly revise you what HTML is, and how HTML works, and how CSS is linked, and how CSS works, and we can, so that we can work together and work everything, like you can understand everything more clearly. As you can see, HTML is basically the skeleton of your documentation, or sorry, skeleton of your web application. By skeleton, what it means, basically the bones of your web application. As you can see, every element of HTML has been divided into section. Everything is divided clearly. Like for example, HTML is the whole body. Head defines the metadata, as well as the header of the web application. So it will have the title, it will have the basically the meta description. Like for example, here you can see we are having a meta description. We'll link everything in the header, like CSS files, like some other font files if you want to link over the head part. The body is the main content of your web application. So body is where we will be working the most. And after the body is everything is done, we're going to close the HTML file. That means that the HTML web application is complete. Now, since we are working with React, we don't work with these HTML files. We all like on the other hand, we work with JavaScript files. So as you can see, JavaScript files, we use JSX format here. In JSX format, everything is similar to HTML, but it is under a JavaScript function. There are two types of ways in you can make a React application, either by a React class component or React function combination. Like the default one is function as of now. So let me quickly clean everything here, so we can start working on the application. So sorry, I'll clean once again. I'll save it up. I guess, sorry, we have to give it a dev, a fragment here. Yes, and as you can see, we have cleared everything in the React application. So right now we have an empty React application. We'll be working here directly. So getting back to VS Code, let me write something here so that we can check everything is working. I'll give a div element here, and I'll simply write here, or we can see hack with Bootstrap. So hack with Bootstrap is done, and if we go here, you can see hack with Bootstrap is written over here. Now, as we were saying, we'll be working with container and see how containers work, and how after how much length it will lose the responsivity, or response how responsive it will be while working with Bootstrap. So getting back to VS Code, I'm gonna give this div a class name. Basically, class name is the class in HTML. Uh, in React, we use class name other than because of syntax issues. If you can see, we have given it in a container. If you go and inspect, if we see, you can see there's a container. Now, since it is extra small container, it will not give anything. I'm gonna go again and give it a fluid container. So it will. So I'll go back here and refresh for you, and if you can see, it will not lose the responsibility by the time. As you can see, if we go to minus like more than excess size, also it will adjust the responsibility on the go. It will adjust. It will be responsive on small dimension or small pixels as well, or small devices as well. Now getting back, let us see other viewports as well. Let us give it as a small viewport. So I'm gonna get back here. If you can see the difference, it will start working here. It will lose the responsibility as soon as will basically it will lose the 100% width as soon as we reach the 145 pixel, or the like the last stage of the breakpoint, the last breakpoint that is small here. I hope you can understand the difference how fluid and small things work. I'll go back again and give it an large breakpoint. So if we go again and refresh here, and if we see here, it will basically text is small, so it will not giving a major difference. But if you have seen the difference here, it might you might have seen how responsive it looks when it comes to viewports and containers and breakpoints. Now, getting back to the other layouts of Bootstrap, we have grids here. Grids is basically a flexbox grid, which is divided into rows and columns. So if we copy this thing and paste it over here, so we can see the difference here. I'll paste it over here. Make sure make sure if you're copying anything from Bootstrap, make sure you change the class into class name so that it doesn't put up an error. So I have changed it to class name. Make sure you follow camel convention. It will help you to basically follow the syntax of. So I'll make sure it doesn't go anything. I save it over here, you can see here the React application column column column, it is given here. So this is how Bootstrap will work in index.html and everything. Let me quickly go back and see if script and everything is running. Yes, as of now it's running very smoothly. Now getting back to, we're gonna make something with other elements or the other components of Bootstrap. We have many things over here. We have gutters as well. Basically gutters are paddings between your column. It has different space. For example, if you give two paddings over here, it will give you a different container or different let us copy this and let me show you how things work here. I'll go back to app.js and I'm gonna copy this, and getting back, let me put the container back, and again I'll paste it over here, and again I have to change the class into class name. The reason why I am using React and Bootstrap combination, because most of the people have used HTML and CSS combination while working with Bootstrap, but they haven't tried it with React because there are other elements as well. I guess there's some issue with linking of CSS. Let me check index.html. So if you are using any code snippet, I'll just like bootstrap.css. So it will link this thing with me. And if I go back and use script as well, it will link everything with me once again. So if you're wondering what I'm using to link everything faster, it is some extensions which I recommend while using or coding, that you can find the extensions here. First one is auto rename tag. That is if you are working with HTML and if you are working with anything. If I rename this tag, it will auto remain the closing tag as well. The other extension I'm using is Codega code snippets. Basically, this suggests you snippets and it would help you to code faster. And other thing is, there are many more extension. These are the two which I use the most. You can use emits as well. Emits help you to code faster. As you can see, there was a problem while linking the CSS and JavaScript. Once it does, it is showing the padding and custom column padding for both of it. That is known as gutters in Bootstrap. Now getting back to the other different components which we're going to use in today's project. Now getting to contents, you can see we have responsive images also as basically a utility or a content that will help you to build faster and build like websites and web application very easily. And I actually forgot one thing. If you are working with CSS, it's this. There's one thing you're gonna do is right, like you work with colors, you work with different things. So if you go with colors, they are basically six or seven, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Basically, eight themes for Bootstrap. If you want to see a live example, I can show it over here. I have a pre-built application right now that I have made it for your demo, so you can work it and see it over here. Let me quickly bring VS Code on the screen so you can see it. This is the application I made for giving you a short demo. I'll run this one as well. npm start. I guess they'll it will ask me to run it on a different port because okay, sorry, I'm running it over directly over. Right, let me open it on the folder so that it doesn't create a chaos. I'll go to work. Let me quickly get it over here so that it doesn't seem the folders. Let me quickly open it up for you. Just give me a second, I'll open it up. GitHub demo. And I'll open. So if you have any doubts, you can ask it over the comment section. We can answer and see if everything is working or not. Okay, this is not the right one. I'll open GitHub source components. Do we have components here? Yes, right. This is the right one. I'll open and run it over in. I'll start the node local server. It might take a time and it will ask me to run it on a different port because I'm already running the demo application on port 3000. So I'll run it on a different port, and it is starting a development server for me. So it will take a while to load everything. So this is basically a React application I made, React plus Bootstrap application I made that will show me all the GitHub information if I write the username. It's a very simple application. I'm using Fetch API to give data. For example, if you can see, Khalid K7999 is my GitHub username, and I have put it, and it is giving me some basic information about my GitHub. So you can make it too. This is not a workshop on how to use GitHub API. So I'm gonna work with front end only, so we can work and see how things work. Getting back to VS Code, I was showing you how we can like colors work in Bootstrap. So let me open it on split screen so you can see it. I'll open it on split screen, this one, and VS Code, and I'll open Bootstrap as well on split screen so it will help you to understand the things better. Let me open this up like this, and introduction to Bootstrap here. And okay, VS Code cannot be opened on small screen. I'll put this up here. Yes, I think it is working right. I'll, right. Awesome. I guess everything is clear as of now. I'll see. I'll go to colors here, so you can understand the basic themes of how Bootstrap themes work or Bootstrap colors work. I'll go to customize colors. There are basically 8 theme options. I have already tell you about. I have told you. Basically, primary gives a blue color. It is having all the shades of blue in it. Secondary gives gray color. Green means success. Red means danger. Yellow is warning, and blue is info. Light and dark is white and black. So if you want to see a live demo on how things work, I'll open up a button for you. I made a button here that is based on color. So for example, if you can see button secondary gives a gray color. If I go and give it a primary, sorry, it will give me a blue color. If I go and change the color to danger, it will give me red color. If I go to change it to light, it will give me white color. Similarly, we have 6 themes, so you can work on any of the theme and work on your project. So I'll quickly open once again the back app.js file where which we were working, and bootstrap application, bootstrap documentation as well. Both of these are opening right now. So if you can see everything how bootstrap is working, everything is done on based on classes or class names. Most of the things are pre-built like css, but if you are working with colors, you need to add different colors into your css file. For example, if you are a button primary, if you want to this color, you will put it in the color section. Getting back to layout, gutters is done. Utilities are that will help you to change the display or flexbox option or give margin paddings and different things. For example, if you are working with margin downwards or margin upwards, it's md and m margin up. If you want to working with flex, it will work be display flex, and many more things you can work with utility section. Z index is if you want to overlay your bootstrap application over some other application, it will give help you to overlay over it. And the last one is css grid. Basically css grid is it will help you to learn, use and customize your alternate layout system build. There are many code snippets over here. Now getting back to the main part, how to build like bootstrap files using get bootstrap documentation or get bootstrap. Now we'll be working and understanding everything one by one, and we'll make changes on the go and understand how things are working. If we're gonna go and see the images, if we use the images, for example, if I use it as this one and I like I'll copy the code here so that I can show you the demo. Like, note that we are not just copying the code, we are understanding the code as well. So it will be easier for us to understand on the, for example, image source. Note that once again, I already said that there's a bit difference between using HTML and using React plus Bootstrap combination. In image, we like in HTML, if you don't close the tags, it will work. But if you are using these tags in React, you're gonna work with, you have to close all the tags in the cells. For example, if you are using br tag, it should close like this, not be capital, I guess. Yes, so it will close it with a closing slash, right? So getting back to image, I'll open any image so that you can have a look on how the images will work. Open image, new tab. I'll put the source here. There are 2 errors here. Let us see what are the errors. Okay, this is the error. Now I guess it should work. And if we go back to images and if we refresh itself, as you can see, it is giving a thumbnail picture of the image. I randomly took a picture from Google. If you want to see other, if you want to give a fluid image, so it will give you a fluid image. I'll go back and give it the class. Okay, there's an issue. We have to use class name here. Note that. Note this every time that in HTML we use class, and in React we don't use class. We use class name. I go back to sorry. I'll go back to React app. I'll quickly close the other things. I'll go back and refresh. It is giving me class name as image fluid. If I go and change it over here, it should change as well. Class name as fluid. I'll close as UID. Let's see if it has changed or something or not. Let me check it over here. As you can see, it is changing according to responsiveness as we have given a fluid. Since the image is small, it is not like expanding a bit, but you can see the here the image is responsive enough as per the size of the viewport. Now getting back to other things, if we have tables, we have a complete scope of tables in Bootstrap as well. We have figures as well. Figures means basically image itself. There's a class, different class, that is figure. Figure helps you to give like for documentation or displaying anything that is related to uh, that has text near it. It will help you as figures, or like pie chart, bar charts, or anything that will help you to describe your text more clearly. So till now, if anyone has any doubt, please ping it in the comment section so that we can be clear enough to move forward. If you have no doubt, we can move forward directly. Now, I guess there are no doubts, or there's a delay with my voice as well. I guess there are no doubts, so we can move forward with everything which we're gonna work on. Next thing is forms. Forms is a very important thing when we are working with any web application, because forms help you to collect data as well as process or gives different functions. For example, if you see the demo here, I guess I have closed it. Let me open it again on localhost 3001. As you can see, this is a form application, and based on this uh, field, we are giving out the details of that GitHub organization. Basically, I'm using a fetch API. As you can see, if I write MLH, it is giving that MLH has 78 repos, 0 followers, and 0 following. If I write any other's name, it will give other details, because this is form and it has a value in it, and based on that value, we are fetching data from GitHub API. So getting back to the other things, form basically will help you. It will also help you to create form controls, give textual controls. It will help you to disable the form. It will help you with everything. You not need to work like with other logics to make things work. Now getting back, we'll see a demo of this forms. I'll take up something from basically a form example here. I'll copy the code for form, and I go here and let us understand how forms are working here. I'll paste the form here. I'll change classes with class name so that I'll things work. We have to close the input tags because we are working on React. Similarly, for other input tags, I guess we only have one input tag. Right. I guess it should be working now. Let us go and see it over the React application here. So as you can see, we have two forms, two input tags. Most of them are working. Now let us see how we can disable the form, how we can change the viewport of the form. We can see other things, like for example, if we want to change the size of the form, we can change it directly by writing form control small, form control large. That is one thing we can do. So let us get back to app.js, and if I want to change this form label, let's do one thing. I'll open this up in split window so we can see everything while seeing the demo as well. I close it up and okay, I guess I closed the wrong one. I'll open VS Code once again. Just a second. Give me a second. I'll open VS Code again. I closed it by mistake. My bad. Right, once again we are open with VS Code. I'll open it over here so that we can see the example by the time. So let us get back to documentation. If you see the documentation, we have different classes for form control as well. Form label we can we can even give the sizing of the form. For example, if we see the example like the input form here, I'll give again one class form control, and I'll give a large text here. So if I give the large text here, it will, if I refresh it, if it is giving a large, okay, I cannot reach the place, I guess. Okay, I have to npm start again and once again do it because I close VS Code. Everything is, it should work now. Just give me a second, I'll open it on the local development server. As you can see, since I have given it a large text here, it is giving me a large input text. Now getting back to other sizes, we have different breakpoints. As I said, we have small, extra large, like double XL, medium, small. You can define according to your need. If I go here and write SM, it will reduce the size of the React application. If I go here, as you can see, the React application is now small. If I go and write XL here, it will give an extra large form input. If I go and write here medium, it will give me a medium. Now, in some cases, we have to disable the form as well. For that case, we have another utility function for disabling the form. We just have to write disable under the form here. So as you can see that the form is right now disabled. So you cannot write anything, and we can write a placeholder here as well. So we can give functions on the go. That is a good function, like a good feature of Bootstrap I have liked the most. As you can see, like we have disabled it. Even we can put a read only thing over here as well, so that one cannot change anything, and we can give one read only plain text as well. There's much more thing we can do. Based on the buttons, we can give buttons as well. Now once these things are done, let us go back to documentation as well, and let us see other components of form as well. We can have a select function and a drop down menu, 1 2 3 drop down menu, as I have made it over here. I guess it is visible now. 1 2 3, we can have this directly from Bootstrap. We do not need to code everything one by one. Now we can give a range, uh, basically a range form as well. This comes under forms only because we are collecting data here. uh, okay, we have a doubt here. How do I load local images? Mine are not showing. For that, you need to add images over here. Let me show it to you. If you are using React, please can you confirm if you are using React or you are using other thing? It will be like easy for me to explain you on the way. So if you want to load the images directly, for example, if I want to load this image, I have a logo here, and I'll copy it over here. And if I want to give an image tag here, so I'll give here the source as logo, or the path which I have copied. Once again, copy the path here. As you can see, once you give the path of the logo, you have to give the exact path of the image. As you can see, the logo here is revolving because it was an image, so it is revolving over here. I guess it should load up. I don't know why it is not loading. Let me check once again. I will go back here. Okay, sorry, I have the image is, it should be this. Why it's not loading? Let me check. app.js, and it should load, I guess so. Public, and it should be logo 512.png. Sorry. I had, it should load now. Let me check app. Logo is there. I guess there's some issue with the image. I'll check it up and see what's the issue. Logo should load. But is are you facing the same issue? Are you here? Remove the class name and see what's the issue. Is there issue with the class name? Okay, there's some issue with the logo itself. We can change it and we can write have an image link over here. I'll look it up and get back to you over here. This, let's not waste time over this thing. We can, I'll ping you up in the DM so that we can work it over there. If let us change this link, let us see if it's working or not. It's working on images. I'm sure not sure what's the issue with the local React application. Let us get back to Bootstrap as we were doing. Uh, you are seeing the this function. We have range function over here in this like React application as well. So let me quickly go here and change it. And once again, we have to change class into class name. Class into class name. So that should it is working. You can see it is an example range. We can even give the range and everything over here. Now these are the things and the components you can check it and have a look. So it would be much clear for you to understand how React components are and how what are the function. As I already said, documentation is the first thing you should look for if you are learning anything new, right? If you're using floating labels, layouts, their validation, we gonna have components like branch come buttons, collapse, cards. These are the things which can be used in your projects. It will be much easier for you to directly take the component, make your own changes. Make sure you don't just copy the code from Bootstrap documentation, or you just copy code from anywhere. You need to understand or reverse engineer the code to make sure everything is working. Now let us see what we have done in the project I have made. uh, if you understand, like we're gonna see how things are working on that project. Just a second. I have to open the VS code again. I closed it by mistake. Just a second. I guess it is over here. Right. Here is the total application is based on React and basically React and Bootstrap. So if you have worked with React, you must knowing that we don't directly use components over app.js file. We make a different folder just for back practices and best practices, and we call it over app.js file. Getting back to app.js file, as you can see, we have got navbar function and form function over app.js. Let us see what is the navbar function. Basically, navbar is I have created a navbar function using the like basically the totally the all Bootstrap classes. It will be easier to understand how things work. Now let us see the first class name, navbar light bg is equal to light. You can see here, if I go and see here the demo or the development server. Let me run it over once again. It's the old file. If it's running, it would be like we can see the live changes. Great. As you can see, the text color is black, the back is prime light, the background is light, and everything is light. So we're gonna change it to dark. Let us see how things are looking on dark mode. Basically, the text is should be white. Let us change the text to white. Uh, okay, the text. I think I made a mistake. Uh, Amber is light and text is black once again. Yes. As you can see, we can change it directly from here. We can change it to primary nav bar private. Like everything can be done directly from the thing. If you are stuck anywhere, anytime, just go and check the documentation. It will help you with everything. If you go typography and everything, it will give you how things are working. H3 bootstrap dot heading, we can even give customized heading, we can give display headings, everything can be done over directly from the documentation. So if you are stuck anywhere with document, like anywhere using bootstrap, just refer to documentation, not just bootstrap. If you are stuck anywhere with any tech stack, please go and have a look in the official documentation. Solution must be there, you just have to find out. And while finding solutions, you might also get through different problems and different solution which other users have faced. Now getting back to what we have done here, division class name container fluid. If you can see the live demo here, I'll give it a large container here and show you how things are working when we give it a large container. Since you can see the now, if you can see, when it comes to large, it is losing its 100% width. Otherwise, it is maintaining the width till till it reaches to the large breakpoint. Once it reaches to the large breakpoint, it will lose the width and it will like shrink itself to be responsive. We can change it over with other small size as well. If we give it a small, so note that by default extra small is the uh, like default breakpoint. If you can see if you can notice the difference here when we are changing the breakpoints, if we go to large, it was shrinking directly from here, but if we, because now we have given it a small, it is shrinking from here. So it is losing its 100% width from the small viewpoint, that is 256 pixels, near about 256 pixels. Now getting back, if you want to change the name, let us come here and change it as mlh demo, and I'll save it up. It will change it over here, mlh demo. We have changed it. Now moving forward with the other functions, navbar is done. Let us have another anchor element here. Sorry, let us move into the form part. As you can see, the form part, the basic function of the form is written here. I have given it into functions, that is react function. Let us create mm, let us create a new file. Let us name it as navbar, sorry, card.js. Basically, card will take a card and will make a live card here, so that it will help you to boost, like it will help you to things like take motivation from bootstrap and make on your own. Let me make a card and so that you can understand. So basically, for making a card, let us first import a react function component. For that, I'll use react dot function component com- without props, so it will create me a function component so that I can work directly with over here. So I have a function component here. If you're wondering why I'm fasting, like typing so fast, I'm using Codega code snippets or Emmet or any other shortcuts, so that basically this was like Codega code snippets. It will help you to import code snippets on the go. Now getting back to how to make a cards, we'll first declare a div element. when we declare a div element, it is already creating a division in the html like html structure, and I'll give it a class as card, class name as card basically. So once the class name as card is done, if you go and check over here in the documentation, we have a class name as cards, right? So it will take up this class, so that it will help you to link the css and javascript according to it. Now I have taken class over here. Now we have to style a width, right? So let us give it a width of 18 rem or 20 rem. What should be better? Like 20 would should be. For width, I'll write. Sorry, I have to first declare style. So style, I'll give it. It is for giving local CSS width, and then I'll give it to 18 rem and give it a semicolon so that the system can recognize that I have given everything according to like the syntax. Now I have to give an image file. So I am image src, and I'll give the source as the image I gave it before. Let me check if I have this. Yes, I have the image in the page bin. I'll give the class name. Let us give it a class name as, we want to keep the image on the top. We have to make something like this. I'll bring back the documentation here. We have to make something like this. So for making something like this, we have to keep the image on top, so that it will be like the image should be on top, so it will give you a good look with the card. So for css, for bootstrap, we have a class known as class name image top. So I'll give it as card, because we are using card, then we're using image, then I give it to top. So it is done. We have to close the tag and the image is here. Now we have to give the body of the card. For that, we have to declare another div inside a div. Basically, we have to give a nested div, and I'll give the class name as card body. So once I've given the class name as card body, we can work on the body of the card. Basically, it is similar to the structure of the HTML, which which I discussed for the first time while explaining the basics of HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. So it is done now, so we can work on the other things of the cards. Let us give a card a title. So card title will be basically, let us give an another, like, let us give an h5 class name. We'll give it as a card title because it already have one thing. Then I close it up and I'll, so mlh demo, this will be the title of the card. Now we have to give the text, or basically the content of the card. So let us use basically a paragraph tag. So paragraph text, I will give this as class name as text. I'll close it up and I'll use the text is Ipsum, lorem ipsum text, I guess, lorem demo, anything. Let us use a placeholder that, hey, we are live at mlh.tv. It is the description of the card has been given. Next thing we have to give is basically the link or the button that will go somewhere. For that, I'll first declare an anchor element and then give it a link as, let us give it https. I'll give it as mlh.io. Basically, the link of the text should be here, and I'll give the class name as, let us keep the button color as button secondary, because I'll really like the shades of black and gray, something like that. And I'll close it up and I give it a text like visit our website. As you can see, the auto completion has raised up an error. It is done. Now I have to close all the divs. So I'll close the div, the first one here. The first one is closed. I guess only the second one needs to be closed. So I'll close it up once again, the div, so that there's no syntax issues. Let us save it over here. So it is saved, and let us see how, if our card is made or not. Okay. The one thing I have done is I haven't exported to the app.js file. So let us give it a break here, break rule, and I'll import cards over here. There's an error, app.js file. Okay, I forgot to close the tab. Okay, it is not showing. Let me check what's the issue is. Let me copy it and directly go to app.js file, and I'll not waste much time over here to work on a single issue. Yes, there's an issue with app.js. Let me copy the code from Bootstrap and let me. Okay, I forgot to change the class into class name. I understand. Let me change it over here. I guess it should be visible now. Okay, there's some issue while importing the card.js file. Let me check what's the issue is. Card component, that is card. I guess it's working. It should be working. Let me copy it directly over here. App.js file and I'll copy it over here. Let us see if it works or not. It is not working. The body, let us see what's the issue with here. Body script. Okay, not sure what the issue is. It's, can anyone find what's the issue? I think it is. I cannot find out what the issue is here. Card name, card title, button primary. Okay, I have to give it a source. Here, some source. Here as image.src. Let us give this as this. Okay, it's not working. I'm not sure what happened. It's working now. I'm giving it a card. Okay, let us remove forms over here, or let us do it in a new tag. I guess there's some issue with the package.json file. I'll open it up in a new file and run it for you. Let us see if it's working or not. I open again new folder and this image demo. I'll open the code here. Let us give it a div here. Also give it a container. Let us see if it's working. Yeah. Okay, there's some issue with. Yeah, I understand. Now, last name card, div element, paragraph task is closed. Not sure. I'll check it up and like there's some issue with packet, most probably by packet.json file, and there's some issue while importing it over here. Uh, let us give it person. Let us check what's the issue with. Okay, let us give it another try and try with another class. Yes, it's working now. There was some issue with the like importation of CSS. I have fixed it. As you can see, I have given a tag here. If I want to import an image, I can image like the card is created. Now let us see if we can do something to the card. Let us give it a card as a title. So I'll give it as card title over here. I'll change it to class name. It should be working now. As you can see, we have the card title here. Now we have to check if we can add an image over here. So like let us import an image over here. Let us give it as an image img src is equal to the emote source here, and I'll give it a class name as img thumb or image top. I'll give it as an alt as well. So as you can see, we have a card with card title with card text. Now let us see if we can small the size of the image, because image here is very big. Let us do it as card image top. We'll give as img. Okay. If you are stuck anywhere, you have to go here to documentation, official documentation. Let me go it over here and see how we can change the. I know it because it just we have to write image thumbnail. But let us see if what you'll do is, if you are stuck, I'll go back again, and if I see I guess content, it will be under content, right? Images. I want to make the image as thumbnail, so I have to give a like class as image thumbnail. I'll go here. I'll add another class here, and I'll give it as image thumbnail, and I guess it should be now in thumbnail. Okay, wrong folder. This it should be somewhere here. Localhost 3000 over here. Image thumbnail. It is showing image thumbnail. Now most of the part of like here is done. Let us see and recap once again on how we have worked with Bootstrap and how Bootstrap works. Let me quickly get back to documentation. So here, first of all, we'll see how Bootstrap is working and how Bootstrap can be used in your projects. The very first thing is how to import Bootstrap into your project. For importing Bootstrap or linking Bootstrap to your project, there are two ways. The first one is either to download the whole source code and write it over, link it to your file. Either you can link it by CSS, simple by content delivery network by CSS or JavaScript, or you can either like import the whole bundle here. For importing, you have to go to index.html. If you are using some shortcuts like Codega code snippets, you can directly import it by writing bootstrap dot sorry, i'll I'll have to change bootstrap.js or bootstrap.css. It will import directly everything for you. Next thing, we have to see the layout of the Bootstrap file. Basically the Bootstrap file, the basically Bootstrap have different layout that will help you to write or bifurcate or give a good skeleton to your responsive web application. The first one is breakpoints. What is breakpoints? Breakpoints are basically the size of basically the sizes, or basically not the size, is basically are customizable width that will define how responsive your web, how responsive is your web page. For example, if you give an breakpoint of XS, basically you don't have to give it, it's the by default breakpoint. It will lose its dimension, the 100% width of the dimension, at 576 pixels. Similarly, for small, it will lose the dimension greater than 576 pixels. Similarly, for medium, it is 768, 992, 1200, 1400. Very different. Next one is container. Container is basically the blocks which will be working on in anything like Bootstrap. So for containers also, containers plus breakpoints are used to define the responsibility of the, basically how responsive your website is. If you use container, it will give 100% width until it gets excess. Then container small, medium, large, XL, double XL. We have a default container, it will give excess size. We have another container known as fluid. The fluid will give you the, basically fluid will give you the 100% width every time. Next is grid. Grid system is basically the combination of rows and columns that you can divide the task. Basically, if I give you an example of a grid, I'll open a website mlh.io. If you can see over here, I'll bring it over here. If you can see, these are divided into grid. These are basically divided into rows and columns, so it will help you to code faster, or basically not code faster, it will help you to make your website look good. Next is columns. Columns are basically, everyone knows columns, and everything is divided into rows and columns. Basically, there are 12 columns in which the whole viewport is divided. You can use number of columns accordingly and use Bootstrap according to it. Then we have gutters. Gutters are basically the padding between the Bootstrap, basically two columns. Then we have utilities. Utilities are basically help you to change the display, give flex page, like it is somewhat similar to flexbox options or display everything. Z index is when you want to overlay anything. Next is CSS Grid. CSS Grid will help you to work with Bootstrap and use to customize alternate layout for your website. Next is content. Content, there's a lot of content which you can learn by practicing in it. The major part is here is image, tables and figures, and typography as well. Reboot basically is a collection of element specified CSS in a single file. So basically you don't have to have multiple integration in a single file. Next is typography. Typography is help you to document the text with it. Then images, table, and then we have used multiple components in a file to make an application. Now that you are good with Bootstrap and React, like I want you make an application and submit for today's channel on DevPost. For submitting, you have to go to devpost.com. Just a second, devpost.com, and make sure you have checked into the fourth day of Global Hack Week. If you haven't not, I'll give you the link over the description. Go and register over the DevPost, and you have to create a project. I'll have to prove myself that I am not a robo. Once it is done, now you have to go over, like you have to add the project details over here, and additional information. Under additional information, you have to select hack with Bootstrap. So this was basically all which I have covered while using Bootstrap, or how to work with React plus Bootstrap combination. And make sure everything is clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask it over here. Otherwise, I'll have to end the stream because there's some another stream lined up after this, and you're gonna love web development with basically we have a track for Global Hack Week, so make sure you do implement the Bootstrap knowledge through this session in your uh, web development projects as well. So this was all from my side, and I guess we can end this session. So have a great day, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening according to what your location is. And this is me, Khalid, signing off. Have a great day.